Hi, my name is Heather, and welcome to another episode of my Etsy workshop series, where we'll be building our digital Etsy shops from the ground up. Today, we're going to be creating downloadable digital phone wallpapers. These are so fun because me personally, I get so bored sometimes of having the same thing on my phone all the time. So I love to find some cute wallpapers on Etsy to put on my phone, especially like seasonal ones, just to kind of get me into the mood of the season. So I thought this would be a really fun one to do. And I'll be using Procreate on the iPad to do this. You can use whatever tablet and whatever drawing software that you like. And if you're not an artist, you could also create a Canva document of the same size and drop in some cute elements and make it that way. Either way, I think this is a fun way to add some more items to your digital Etsy shop. So we're going to start by creating a new file. So I'm going to click the plus sign and I'm going to create a new canvas. And I'm going to make it 1800 pixels wide by 3120 pixels high. And this is a pretty good ratio for the phones and a pretty good size that should scale up to most phones. For the DPI, I'm going to set it to 72 because that's what a screen display DPI would be. And we want to make sure the color profile is going to be RGB. And you can pick display P3, that is Apple's color profile, and that's fine to do that, and do create. This is my base file for my wallpaper, and we're going to make 5 wallpapers just so that the user has kind of a little selection to choose from, but you want them to be a similar theme so they can kind of be in a pack together. So for my theme, since Christmas is going to be coming soon, I think it would be great to get some Christmas items up in the shop. So I'm going to do a Christmas themed wallpaper. So first I'm just going to grab like a gray color, and then I'm going to just pick some kind of pencil for my brush, and I'm just going to sketch something out. And for this one, I think I'll do a pattern. And since I'm doing a pattern, I'm going to create each item once, and then I'll just repeat it rather than redrawing it a bunch of times. Now I'm going to color these in. So I'm going to take that layer that I drew on, and I'm going to click the N right here, and I'm going to change it to multiply, and then I'll turn the opacity down, and I'm going to make a new layer and put it underneath that one. And then this one, I'm going to do all my colors. I finished drawing my little elements, and now I want to repeat them to make a pattern. It's important when you're copying and pasting these that you're not making copies of copies, because Procreate is not great at copy paste, and when you rotate elements and that kind of thing, even just copy and pasting, they always lose a little bit of quality. So we're always going to copy and paste from the original layer. So I'm going to grab this layer and duplicate it, and then I'm going to rename this one here to original. So then that way we'll know that that is the high quality one, and we're not going to move any of these ones around, because moving them also makes the quality go down a little bit. So I'm going to hide that now, and then this is going to be the layer I'm going to use right now. So I'm going to grab each of these and put them in different places. Now that I have these where I want them, I'm going to go back to the original layer and make a copy. And then this new one, we'll have to rename it to something else because we don't want it to get mixed up. So now I'm going to grab these and do whatever I want with them. I like to flip them too so they look a little different, and rotate. I also like to have some elements kind of going off the edge like this, and I just think it looks more natural, like it's a pattern that repeated and then kind of went off the edge. I'm pretty happy with this one, so I'm going to save it out. And we're going to save it out as a JPEG because the file size is going to be smaller than a PNG, even with no compression. So I picked JPEG, and I'm going to do Save Image. Now we can create our second one. So I'm going to press the plus sign and click on that same profile that we just made. For this one, I want to do one with less contrast. So if you look at the one we did before, there's a lot of contrast in it. Like if you look at it from far away, you really see like the bright red cookies and the green holly. That can be really fun for the lock screen, but sometimes people might want one that's a lower contrast one because it's really hard to see your app icons on it if you're using it for the screen when you unlock your phone and you have your icons there. For this one, I think maybe I want to make it kind of like a Christmas tree, like your phone is the Christmas tree. So I'm going to make it green and have ornaments on it. First, I'm going to change my background color to green, and then I'm going to draw my ornaments, but again, I don't want to have a lot of contrast. Say that I wanted to make a red ornament. If I just took this red and I made a ball, that's a lot of contrast because if you kind of like squint your eyes, you really see the red and it doesn't really blend in like at all. So instead, we need to pick a red that doesn't contrast as much. So I'm going to click on the red, and the green is less saturated. So I'm going to pull down the saturation on the red, maybe make it a little darker. You can also go up here and click on hue, saturation, and brightness. And then you can mess around with these a little bit and try to find some settings that make it have less contrast. So when I turned this saturation down just a teeny bit, it has less contrast and it's not quite so bright. So this would be better because you'd be able to see your app icons over it better. So I'm going to do that, and then that'll be the red that I use. Now I also want to make some kind of branches, so I'm going to make a new layer underneath these ones, and I'll just get a little bit of a darker green, and I'm going to do my branches. This may actually be a little too much contrast, so maybe I can just turn the opacity down a bit. I'm just going to move these around a little bit and add the little hook, and I'll go ahead and add more ornaments. And this wallpaper is done. So now I'm going to click the wrench and share as a JPEG and save image. Now I'm going to do another one. This one I'll do hand-drawn plaid. I think that'll be fun. So I'm going to get kind of a darker green, and my colored pencil, I'm going to draw my stripes. The key to making plaid is to make this layer a little bit transparent. So then that way, when they overlap, they'll show through each other. So if I duplicate this layer and then grab my select tool and rotate it, then you can see that where they overlap is darker, and that is because they're at a transparency. Now I'm going to duplicate it again. And we could also set them to multiply. That would help too. And we can add some other colors too if we want. So I'll make a new layer and I'll add some red in. Now we can just do two more. One that I think would be really cute is a candy cane pattern. And we can use a guide for this. So if we go to Canvas and Drawing Guide and turn that on and go to Edit Drawing Guide, we can find the isometric guide, and that's going to have the diagonal lines. I'm going to turn the grid size up a little bit, then I'll click done. And now I can just draw along those lines, and that really helps. There is my candy cane design. And now I'm just going to do one more, and I do think it's good to have one that has a good focal point. So like a character or an object or something like that. I think I'm going to do like a little present that is going to have maybe a kitty cat coming out of it. And I'm going to leave some amount of room around for margin in case someone's phone is slightly different proportions and it might cut off the sides or something. So I'll go ahead and color this in. Now that I have my focal point, I'll just add some other little decorative elements. Now that I'm done with this wallpaper, I'm going to save it out. And now we can go over to Canva and create our thumbnails. So I'm in Canva, and for this video, I want to do 10 thumbnails. The max thumbnails you can have is 10, and it's always good to do 10 thumbnails because you want to give the customer something to look at. I'm going to go to create a design, and I'm going to do a custom size, and I'm going to do 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels and create new design. And now I can pull in my images. I'm going to go to uploads and upload files. And I'm going to grab my 5 designs, and I am going to put these in my design. I'll just click on them. Now we just need to make something catchy that's going to grab someone's attention. We don't want to just have the images sitting here. To show them on a phone, I think would make a lot of sense. So let's go to Elements and search for phone. And we can go into Photos. And here we have a bunch of phone mock-ups that we can just drop it into. So I'll grab this one and see how it's like open in the back. So we can just put our image behind it. So I'm going to grab these ones and kind of put them off over here. Let's go ahead and size this properly. Since I can't grab the wallpaper because it's behind the image, I'm going to go to Position, and then under Layers, then I can just grab it. And I'm just going to make it as big as the phone, and then crop the sides wherever it's going to get cropped off. Actually, I'm going to delete these ones for now because I kind of like this as a standalone thumbnail. And then let's pick a background for this picture. So maybe I can search for like something Christmassy, like maybe this one. That might look a little too crazy. I think that looks really nice. So let's go ahead and duplicate this, and then we can drop another one of the designs in. And then I'm going to go to Position, Arrange, Backward, and maybe I'll swap out the background here just to make it a little more interesting. Ooh, this one has candy canes, so that goes with the theme. I'll just duplicate it again, and I'm just going to do the same thing for each of the 5 wallpapers, and then that'll have 5 thumbnails taken care of, and then we'll only have to do 5 more. Now I have those 5 thumbnails done. I'm going to do one for the main thumbnail. So I'm going to pick my 3 favorite out of these ones, the 3 that I think are the best, or the ones that I think might be the most popular. I'm going to grab a phone, and then I'm just going to bring these to the front. Maybe I'll just kind of bring these up. Let's just pick a background. Another thing we can do is we can have kind of an infographic that gives information about the wallpapers. So we can add some text. We can write what size the images are. We can say that they're hand drawn. And then I'm just going to left align this and maybe give it a little more spacing. I'm going to pick a different font here. Maybe like little check marks next to each item because it's like a little list. And then let's just space these evenly apart, and then let's get a nice background. Maybe I'll make these red to go with the theme. And it does look a little bit empty, so maybe I want to add like a title. So now we just have 3 more to do. Maybe we can just look for some more mock-ups that we can use. Oh, like this one's cute. Someone's wearing a sweater. And notice how when I try to put the background behind the phone, this part right here isn't transparent, and so you can't see the phone background anymore. What I'm going to do is use a frame. So I'm going to go in Elements and scroll down to Frames and do See All. We're going to have to try to find a rounded rectangle that fits the phone pretty well. This one looks pretty close. Let's add another one, and let's do a different mock-up. And then let's add some cute little holiday elements. Another thing I was thinking we could do is to have the time on here like people usually have on their phone when it's locked, and that might make it look a little more realistic. I like that one, and now we just need one more thumbnail. So I'll just do the same thing, and I'm just going to find another phone mock-up and drop one of my artworks in. Here's all 10 of my thumbnails. And now I'm going to click Share, Download. I'll do PNG and All Pages and Download. And then this is going to be put into a zip file in my downloads, and then I can import them into my Etsy listing. I'm not going to go through the whole upload to the Etsy listing today because it's just going to make the video too long. But my videos that I have before this one in the same series, have all those details for you. So it's all going to be the same. You'll just have more thumbnails to upload. So you can go ahead and do that on your own. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And as always, you can email me at heather@heathercash.com. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so I know to make more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.